Proving your alibi, Decrypting Deception. The journalists fight for justice against a tech giant. In the sprawling metropolis of Viridia, where skyscrapers cast long shadows over secrets, investigative journalist Maya Lin was on the verge of exposing the city's most powerful tech conglomerate, Omnicorp. She had spent months compiling a dossier that detailed Omnicorp's illegal data mining operations, a scandal that could topple its charismatic CEO, Julian Croft. But just as she was about to publish her findings, the story took a dark, personal turn. On a rain-slicked evening, Croft's lead data scientist, the very man who had been Maya's anonymous source, was found murdered in his downtown apartment. The police, acting on a tip that seemed too convenient, found Maya's fingerprints at the scene. Suddenly, the hunter became the hunted, and the story wasn't just about corporate corruption anymore. It was about her own survival. The case against Maya was a carefully constructed web of circumstantial evidence. The prosecution painted a picture of a ruthless journalist willing to do anything for a story, even commit murder. They presented security footage of a woman resembling Maya entering the victim's building, the damning fingerprint evidence, and a series of encrypted messages they claimed were a prelude to the crime. For the public, fed a steady diet of curated headlines by media outlets with ties to Omnicorp, Maya was already guilty. Her reputation was in tatters, her career on the brink of collapse. Trapped in a holding cell, she knew that the only way to prove her innocence was to break the biggest story of her life from behind bars, using the very skills that had put her in this position. Maya's alibi was her only hope, but it was fragile. At the time of the murder, she was meeting with a second, deeply hidden source, a former Omnicorp engineer known only by the codename Daedalus. The meeting took place in an old, disused subway station, a ghost in the city's transit system with no cameras and no digital footprint. It was the perfect location for a clandestine exchange of information, but a terrible one for establishing an alibi. Daedalus was her only witness, but revealing his identity would not only expose him to Croft's wrath, but would also compromise the integrity of her entire investigation. Maya was caught in a classic catch-22. Prove her innocence and potentially lose her source, or protect her source and risk a lifetime in prison. The courtroom became her new newsroom. Working with her determined public defender, Maya began to piece together the truth, not just about the murder, but about the elaborate frame-up orchestrated by Omnicorp. They analyzed the prosecution's evidence with a journalist's skepticism. The security footage was grainy, the woman's face obscured. The fingerprints, she argued, could have been lifted from an old coffee cup during one of her public meetings with the victim. The encrypted messages, when finally decrypted by a digital forensics expert her defender brought in, revealed not a plot to commit murder, but a desperate plan to expose Omnicorp's illegal surveillance network. They were coordinating the leak, not a homicide. The trial reached its climax when Maya's defender, following a hunch from his client, subpoenaed Omnicorp's internal server logs from the night of the murder. The company fought it tooth and nail, but the judge, sensing a deeper conspiracy, compelled them to comply. The data revealed the truth. At the exact time of the murder, Julian Croft himself had remotely accessed and wiped the victim's home computer, a desperate act to destroy evidence of the data scandal. The digital trail led directly back to the CEO's office. Simultaneously, new evidence surfaced that the anonymous tip to the police had originated from a burner phone purchased by Omnicorp as head of security. The meticulously constructed case against Maya crumbled, revealing the rotten foundation beneath. Julian Croft was arrested, and the charges against Maya were dropped. She had not only proven her alibi, but had also exposed the rot at the core of the city's most powerful corporation, all while fighting for her own freedom.